Okay, I think I talked long enough just giving information. I hope that's been helpful. What I'm going to start to do now is work through the questions in the chat, just going through the Q&A here. But Zoom raised, a person has raised their hand.
I just want to know, so
Okay.
I've worked as a risk analyst at KPMG and for a year and a half. And for that purpose, I've dealt with like drafting board resolutions and sometimes interpreting some of the local laws in UAE and advising the client facing teams on that. Would that count as qualifying work experience? Because a lot of that was submissions and then it's not constantly giving legal advice. So I'm not sure if that can be counted as qualifying work experience.
So thank you very much. That's a really good question. So just to paraphrase this, so you're working for an accountancy company, but preparing corporate documents for the governance of an organization, but also interpreting local corporate law for the organization. Is that a fair summary?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I've tried to make it more generic. When people ask me this, because I always offer a free Zoom, which is about an hour long, where I'm going through checking the situation for someone who's looking perhaps to have an external confirming solicitor to help them. I'm always looking to see, do I think it is qualifying work experience? What percentage of their time is spent doing that qualifying work experience? Because it may not be all of the time. And I take a general common sense approach. So if they're doing 80% of provision of legal services and 20% supporting admin, then that's fair enough. I'm not going to kick up about that. But if it's only 20% of provision of legal services, then we may have to do a percentage calculation for full-time equivalent. It does sound to me as though this is potentially the provision of legal services. I would need to discuss with you outside of a general publicly facing webinar, the particulars of what you're doing so that I can satisfy myself as to whether it is the interpretation of the law and provision of those legal services as opposed to admin. But that's my general approach on that. So you mentioned that you're interpreting local legislation, advising the organization. And so the preparation of those corporate documents together with that does sound to me like the work that a corporate lawyer might be doing. So I'm leaning towards that would be something that I would accept as the provision of legal services.